Well, good morning. It is Wednesday morning here and in Aurora, Colorado, and it's so great to see you. I'm Alan Vukas, and here we are. We're joining together hey, Kevin, I could see you. Hey, and we are joining together this morning, as I do every morning, Monday through Friday, to take some time to contemplate some of the principles around prosperity. And prosperity, not just being about money, but prosperity about us having available to us the resources and everything that we need in order to fully express our gifts and talents in the world. I mean, what life has brought us here to be and to do and to have. Prosperity is about having everything necessary to be and to do and to have that. And in order for us to do that, as we're discovering in the science of getting rich, we need the consciousness in order to have that prosperity. You know, the world tells us if we go into, there's Bodie. Bodie is being told something right now as he's running to the front door. We are told as we go about our life, as we look, spend time with our friends, our family, those people who care about us, even people who don't care about us, as we watch the news, as we read the newspaper, as we read headlines online, as Facebook messages that pop up for us, what we are told by most and many, what we've been trained to do, is to live by our circumstances, to measure what we are able to do, the possibility. What we've been trained to do is measure our possibility by what's probable. And probable is based on what we see around us. And as we're learning in the science of getting rich, what we're learning is that is competition versus creation. And if we're going to develop an experience of life where we have enough, enough is actually the opposite of not enough. Some people say more than enough. Well, no, that's more than enough. Enough is enough. Anything more than that, then you're not using. So enough, having enough time, having enough energy, having enough vitality and strength, having enough money, having enough opportunities, having enough education, having enough in order for us to live the life that when we look back and we pause, we say, I love my life. That is what a prosperity consciousness empowers us to do. So in this book, The Science of Getting Rich, we've been spending some time every day, Monday through Friday. And where we left off yesterday, is actually in chapter 5, which is a chapter called Increasing Life. And there were a couple thoughts that I wanted to share with you here this morning, things that really, as I was reading and preparing to spend some time with you this morning, as I was reflecting on some of what Wallace Wattles writes in his book. It just really jumped out at me. And so I want to read you a couple things and then unpack it. And then as we do every day, I want to anchor that in an affirmative prayer. Ground it in consciousness, in our awareness as we go about our day, that we know the truth, regardless of what others tell us, that maybe there's not enough. But we know the truth that we live in a universe of more than enough. More than enough. It's available to us to have the enough. So here, let me share with you something that he writes here on page 34 in the Tarcher Penguin edition. Riches secured on the competitive plane are never satisfactory and permanent. They're yours today and another's tomorrow. Remember, if you were to become rich in a scientific and certain way, you must rise entirely out of the competitive thought. Competitive thought. I want you to be mindful of that for a moment, to really let that word sink in. Competitive. We need to rise out of the competitive thought. You must never think for a moment that the supply is limited. Competitive thinking is when we're operating in the space of where there's not enough, that the supply is limited. Just as soon as you begin to think that all the money is being cornered and controlled by bankers and others, and that you must exert yourself to get laws passed to stop this process and so on, in that moment you drop into the competitive mind, and your power to cause creation, that's the other word. So there's competitive and there's creative. Your power to cause creation is gone for the time being. When is your power for creation gone? When we drop into competitive thinking. And what's worse, you'll probably arrest the creative moments you've already instituted. Let me just read these next few lines. No, and he says this with all capitals, and I even have it circled here. No. K-N-O-W, know that there are countless millions of dollars worth of gold in the mountains of earth not yet brought to life. And know that if there were not, more would be created from thinking substance to supply your needs. Know that the money you need will come, even if it's necessary for 1,000 men to be led to the discovery of new gold mines tomorrow. Never look at the visible supply. Look always at the limitless riches in formless substance, and know that they are coming to you as fast as you can receive and use them. Nobody, by cornering the visible supply, can prevent you from getting yours. And this one last line, and then we'll never get afraid that you will lose what you want because some other person beats you to it. That cannot possibly happen. You're not seeking anything that's possessed by anybody else. You are causing what you want to be created from formless substance, and the supply is without limits. This morning, today, every moment going forward, we need to check ourselves. Where are our thoughts? How would you categorize the thoughts that you are thinking about your life here in this moment? Is it creative? Is it from the space of what would I love? The what and the why. When we're focused on the what and the why, this is creative. And when we know what our what and why is, and when we are knowing that there is supply for that, and we have no doubts that the supply is available to us, then we are inspired to take action that the universe works out the hows in response to our what and whys. So creative thinking is focused primarily on the what and why. It's focused on the solution. It's focused on the answer. It is focused and in agreement with the reality that we live in a universe that we are surrounded by this thinking stuff, this substance that is everywhere present, and that it is always ready to receive any thought that has been impressed upon it, so that it can clothe that thought with form and bringing it into the physical world. That is creative. But competition, or thinking, being in competition, or competitive thinking, which is the opposite, actually uses the limits of our past, uses the boundaries, uses the number of pieces of pie that are remaining in the plate as the basis for what is possible. Do you get the difference? And when we are measuring, I remember as a kid, when we would have pizza on Saturday nights, that was sort of a regular thing. We would order pizza, and then there would be just a couple pieces left. You know the game that happens when there's just a piece or two left in the box? And then you're looking around, and maybe you don't play this game, but I used to play this game, especially as a kid, and maybe as an adult. But there was so many pieces left, and then measuring as far as what is possible for me to have. That's competitive. Can I get mine before they take it from me? When we operate from that space, when we operate from the space that I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, how can I make this happen? How can I make this happen? How is the realm of competitive thinking. Now, you will be inspired to take actions, but how is the domain of the universe, of that formless thinking substance, that thinking stuff? And it will it will let you know, as Dr. Karen at New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living, she shared with me yesterday, she shared with me the thought that God keeps us on a need-to-know basis. So what we do is we inform the universe of what our intentions are. And then the universe, as it's organizing and bringing it into a manifestation, then we're informed on this need-to-know basis of the next steps to take. It's a collaborative relationship between us and the universe. So if you're looking, if love is what you feel that there might be a lack of in your life, today, be clear on that what it is that you want. You want more love in your life. You want relationships. And why do you want it? Because you want the love. You want the connection. And then to be in that creative thinking, we must know that the love that you are seeking, it is seeking you. You're starting a business. And you might be thinking, oh, I bet if I don't jump on this train right now, it's going to move out of the station. And once that train is gone, well, let me tell you what happens when that train leaves the station. There will be another one to follow it. So in competitive thinking, fear is many times a familiar feeling because we are thinking that there's not enough and I better get mine before it's taken from me. So if you're looking for that business and starting that business or increasing your business, lean into it and know that there are the customers, the clients, the people that are there, the people that you are looking for your business are looking for you. They don't belong to someone else. You don't have to compete with someone else because only you and your business is providing the services and the products and what you're able to do it in the way that you do it. And there, out of the 7 billion plus people on the planet, there are those who are looking for you, and we must know that. If you're looking for more money, if it comes down to as far as that there is a bill that was received in the mail and then you go, oh, I don't have enough money in my checking account. The creative thoughts, the creative process is, what do you want? I want financial freedom. I want the freedom and the ability to pay, to meet my obligations, to fulfill my obligations with ease and grace and in the right time, in the right way. I have plenty to spare and to share. Why? How can I know this to be true? I know this to be true because there are billions, if not trillions of dollars in the world economy. There is more money today. We're no longer using seashells or pottery or we can barter services. We can operate, but the economy is so much larger. And for your piece of this pie, there is more than enough that is waiting for you to be open for it to show up in your life. But until we know, then we're operating from a competitive thinking. And as long as we're holding that there isn't enough, then that is what we're impressing onto this thinking substance, and that becomes our experience. That is why this is so important. I'm talking about this for a second day in a row. Be a creator. Co-create with life. You don't have to make it happen, but be creative in your thinking. And your part is to get clear on the what and the why, and know that your good is looking for you. The house you want is you don't have to wait for it to be built. There is a house that matches everything that you desire in your dream house. There is that house that exists. You don't have to go out there yourself and maybe put together, take a hammer and nail. The universe isn't asking that of you. What the universe is asking of us is to get clear on what it is that we want, why we want it, have a form of thought, and allow that to be impressed in this formless substance, and to trust that process. This is what it means to be creative. So today what I'm holding the space for you and me is that we have the means and the ability to do that. And I'd like to anchor this in an affirmative prayer for us this morning. So I invite you to join with me in consciousness as I know right here and now is that there is this thinking substance that's all around me. You can call it whatever name you like. You can call it divine mind, divine consciousness, spirit, source, God, nature, life, the universe, whatever you call it. It is all around us. It is in this ocean of consciousness in which we move and we live and we have our being. In fact, our being is evidence of it expressing in the world by means of us. We are the wave on that divine ocean. And what I know that is true of spirit, of life, it is true. What is true of source is true of me. It is true of you. That right here and now, what I know is that the mind and the power that created, that is ignited stars, that spins the earth on its axis, that power, that intelligence, that is what is moving you and me today. There is a creative power that is already here. And what I affirm here today is that since that is the truth, that you and I are co-creating with life, that life is waiting for us to set it in motion. The cookie dough is waiting for you to put the cookie cutter on it, and this formless substance is waiting for you to bring that creative power and intention that already is alive within you. To stop waiting for it to do something for you, but for you to impress on it. This is what I want. This is why I want it. This is what I would love. And I know that life has the means and the ability to work it out. The life that is in me, the life that is in you is larger than our circumstances. And it is this life that is creating our each and every moment anew. Creation is always going on. It's just, are we in alignment with that? Are we allowing it to do its work in our life by refusing to compete with another? As a child of God, as a son and a daughter of God, of the Most High, and where that all of this is your birthright, you don't have to compete with another. The money that's in your checking account with your name on it, you don't have to compete with another for those resources. And the same is true about the dream and the vision that you have for better and more. Your name is on it. You don't have to compete, but life is waiting for your direction as to, are you ready for it? Are you ready? And I know that you are. So I hold this space for you and me today, that not only do we have the means and the ability and the power to create with life, we are in fact creating at each and every moment. Even in the competitive thoughts, there are experiences being recreated that we no longer want. But today, right here and now, I know that those past thoughts, those past attitudes, that past competitive thinking, it has no power over you and me today. In this moment, right here and now, we have turned the corner. We have set a new direction, a new course. Our hand is on the rudder, and we are co-creating with life, creating a life that we would love to live. Oh, I am so grateful and thankful. I know this is the truth for you and for me today on this Wednesday, and as I hold this space for you, have an amazing day. I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Tomorrow, we're going to be moving into the next chapter. What the next chapter being, if you have The Science of Getting Rich, or if you don't, Google it online. Go online. You can get a PDF. But the next chapter is chapter 6. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how riches come to you. We're going to be diving even more into this process of being a creator, using our thinking in that creative way. How do the riches, and riches mean every good thing. You define riches for yourself. So whether that's relationships, health, creative expression, spirituality, emotional balance, and well-being. How do riches come to you? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. So you have an amazing day today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Peace and love. Namaste.